Forrester takes a touch. Kenzie with it, up over the keeper, Delude. And Bedford now has a 1-0 lead.
Lana Morris finds Kylie Morris. Kylie's got a shot at it at the end line, and it's in!
Goal! Forrester with it, left foot in the middle, off the head. And Diaz with a shot at it, and it's good!
She's going to make it happen herself. Kenna with the right foot into the box, and a goal for Bedford!
Good evening and welcome to Bulldog Stadium for tonight's Division I playoff game between the Bedford Bulldogs and the Windham Jaguars. My name's Lauren Fox, and alongside Bill Klein, I will bring you all the action from high above Bulldog Stadium as the three-seeded Bulldogs, Bill, look to take on the number 14 Windham Jaguars. Now, these two teams played earlier this season in a game the Bulldogs won 1-0, and I know you weren't here. I was here watching the game, of course, as a parent of one of the players, but it was a 1-0 game, but to say that really kind of underestimates the just excruciating nature of that game. It was boring as all get out. Windham set 8 back for the majority of the game, making it very difficult for the Bulldogs to even have a chance at goal. Finally scored a goal late in the game, and everybody was able to breathe a sigh of relief. But for Windham, in the first half of the season, their MO was to keep other teams off the board and keep themselves off the board. Through their first 8 games, they scored 1 goal. The last 5 games, or through their first 8 games against playoff teams, I should say, they scored 1 goal. The last 5 games against playoff teams, Windham scored 7 goals. So apparently they changed something about the strategy. We'll see a different Windham team now than we saw earlier in the season.
And some of the, coinciding, very similar type of stats that you just quoted, Lauren. Like you said, I've not seen Windham play. Their final record 4-8-4. Their 4 wins all came against non-tournament teams that were in the very bottom part. We've got 21 teams, so they all were way down at the bottom. A couple combination scores here in terms of comparisons. Shutouts, Windham only had 4 compared to Bedford. The Bulldogs had 9, goals 4. Now this is a weird one, as you may know this one. We had really only 2 games. Let's see, we had 3 games where we scored 6 goals. Windham only scored 27 goals. However, 11 goals were in one single game against Manchester Memorial.
Yeah, and that was kind of the one that everybody sort of got healthy against.
Exactly. Goals against, Bedford's only allowed 8 goals all season, which is amazing.
And having watched all those games, 4 of the goals came on a ball in play. 2 of them were off of corner kicks, and 2 were off of direct free kicks. So both of the last 2, you and I saw in that Nashua North game where one of the Fry twins knocked 2 in that game, and the Bulldogs lost by a score of 2-0 that day. Well, it has been, for the Bulldogs, early in the season, it was easy to get on the board. Late in the season, it's been a little bit more difficult, but we just heard in our earpiece from our PA announcer, Steve Kelleher, the name Mackenzie Forrester, and Kenzie went out with a sprained ankle earlier in the season. She is back now, and you have to imagine that will make a big difference for the Bulldogs offensively.
Interesting. Don't want to really look ahead to the game after this, but earlier today there was one game that has been played, finished, Pinkerton versus Salem. Pinkerton won that. So Pinkerton will be playing, if Bedford wins this evening, we'll play here on Friday evening with the game time probably at 6 o'clock after Corey Parker does some of the work that he's going to be busier than all get out this week with everything going on. We've got, this is the first game, then we've got Friday, potentially another game. Boys Saturday in the second round because they got the only bye.
Yes, they were the one coming out of it.
Saturday also, volleyball. Volleyball team will start there. They had the bye as well.
So we will stay with you as we salute America with the playing of our nation's national anthem. for this first round matchup. The Bulldogs taking on the Jaguars, hosting the game tonight, and always a pleasure to be up here, Bill. And as you and I have been with this Bulldog team through championship runs and through early exits or earlier exits, but you've been around this program longer than I have. It's been a very good tradition of consistently being in the upper echelon of Division I girls soccer up here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, and obviously, with the coach having been, consistent over the years here, Michelle Winning, that's a huge thing. And at halftime, just give you a little quick update that we're going to have two guests up here. We've got from the NHIAA, former Central coach Peter Lally, and Stuart Pepper, the Bedford boys coach, with an undefeated season, getting that one bye. They're going to join us at halftime instead of giving you blank screens or whatever, showing a cartoon.
You're going to be the MVP tonight. You're going to be the guy talking for most of the broadcast.
Well, not really.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Lauren, I let you do that. You've got a golden tongue. I think we're going to have, I believe we're going to be able to do replay.
We will have
tonight.
replay. So Andrew Fenn will be on replay back at the BCTV headquarters, and Bill Jennings will be upstairs manning the camera. But for the Bulldogs, they are ready to roll here. The squad taking the field. And I will say this as a fan, and as well as somebody who is commentating on the game here, I'm very curious to see what Windham comes out with, because the game that we saw early on in the season, and I don't have the date in front of me, but the game that we saw much earlier in the season, you have it in front of you there.
It was the fourth game of the season.
Okay, September 13th. So that was it was a month and a half ago. What we saw was a Windham team that was trying to play for the tie. And that turned out to be kind of the MO for a lot of teams in Division I. If you felt like you were going to be a lesser team and that you're outclassed as far as talent goes by your opponent, the goal is to play for a tie. We saw the same thing with Windham in 2023 when we went down there. Warm day, 90 degrees. Windham was playing for a tie. I think it was Lana Morris who scored a goal near the end of the first half. That gave the Bulldogs a 1-0 lead, and that's where things finished up. But it is an interesting change to see a Windham team that later in the season decided that they were going to try to take things into their own hands. So curious to see if they move up or if they're dedicated to staying back. Their initial formation looks like they're thinking about staying back. But
real quick, let me interject here. Just got an update from Andrew Fenn that unlike some of the other brackets and tournaments and the way the field hockey went initially, 1, 2, 3, 4 moved ahead, there's already been a upset. The Hanover Timberlane game. Timberlane, who won the championship last year after Bedford won the year before that, upset Hanover, the number 7. This game was played up at Hanover, so 10/7, score 1-0. And I will add that I spoke to a couple of parents from Windham before the game started tonight, and they assured me that their girls were going to be playing with all their hearts out tonight. There's 8 seniors on the field, and they're excited to keep their tournament hopes continuing beyond this evening.
so early on in this one, and this is the hard time of the year too, where seasons just end. And having been through it as a coach with a baseball program and with this soccer program as well, it's never something that you're quite prepared for. And the only hope is that you make it out of there as the last team standing, as Addie Kiley sends one up and over. Cece Irwin sends it into the box, and the keeper mishandles it. I didn't see who it was. It was Mackenzie Forrester out of the hands of the keeper, Rundy, and into the net. The Bulldogs, a minute 50 in, have won and are on top in this game, 1-0.
Less than 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes into the game. And the Bedford team, last week we saw the last Bedford boys game here at home. They did the same thing. They scored right about the same point in time. Beautiful thing. Makes it easy for a team that's expected to win to get one early like that. Good hustle. Great hustle out there.
It was great hustle on it, but it all starts with the ball from Anna Diaz over the top that Cece's able to run under. And it's almost a happy accident that it happens when Cece sends it in. she didn't quite get all of it. She got a little bit under it, and the timing was perfect, such that right when Rundy was attempting to come up with the ball, Kenzie was there at the exact same time and sent the ball into the net. So Bulldogs are happy to take that one, and for Kenzie, it's goal number 7, I believe. It's been a minute since she was on the board, sidelined with that sprained ankle against, I believe it was against Londonderry, if not a little bit before, but she's close to full strength now, and she's not missing any soccer. She's a senior.
No, the goalkeeper, Rundy, looked a little bit like just starstruck or deer in the headlights.
She was surprised that a player had arrived, but you have to give Kenzie Forrester credit for continuing to pursue that play. And I should have said it was not, I don't think it was Anna Diaz that sent it through. I believe it was Addie Kiley was what I originally said, but regardless, doesn't matter. The Bulldogs have a goal. Now Cece with it at the football 45 to the middle to Vashi. Vashi far side to Kenzie. Go ahead.
I was going to mention that there were just a moment ago, there were 5 defensive backs. I don't think there's a 5-3-2 setup for soccer, but there is tonight for them, and that was mentioned. Peter Lawley said the same thing about how a couple of these girls teams have been doing what you described as playing for a tie or something, 1-goal games.
Jenna Dindorf sends it down the right side to Annie Zink, and Annie challenges the Windham defender for the ball, and it winds up being sent off at Annie Shins by Lila Boucher. For the Bulldogs, this is an odd occurrence too. They haven't scored this early in a game. I'll look at their results for the season, but it has been some time. That one looked like it might have gone off the hand of the Windham defender, Wolin, and sent out of bounds. And again, the Bulldogs will get another throw down from that end. If you're talking about playoff teams, the Bulldogs have not gotten on the board this early in a game, I believe, gracious, since the Timberlane game, which that was back in early September.
It's a nice run coming here, straight up the middle.
Kenna Snow trying to find Vashi, couldn't, finds her pocket picked, and back the other way comes Windham. Now, if you're the Bulldogs, you don't want to give these Jaguars a chance as Boucher moves to the far side. Wing coming up the right side. Have no idea who that is for Windham. Number impossible to make out from the distance that we're in through a couple panes of glass. But regardless, Windham has a throw from the far side, and with that 1-0 deficit, they don't have the luxury of being able to hang back. If they want to keep their playoff hopes alive, they're really going to have to get things in gear. Now, Annie Zink with a nice play, clearing it to half field, where Zakis comes up with it, sends it back near side. And Annie playing good defense, back checking. If this were hockey now, Anna Diaz heading up the field. A little back pass to Zink, now up the right side. Cece Irwin. Cece, one move, finds it sent out of bounds, and the Bulldogs will take a throw. Again, in decent scoring position. About 5.5 minutes gone by here in half number 1.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9 defensive players, not including the goalkeeper. 10 players were within 25-yard line.
So strategically, though, they're chasing a goal. Is the idea here that they want to keep it that 1-0 deficit and somehow luck into one, send one up and over?
I would tend to guess that that's the strategy that they must be looking to do, and I just have to comment real quick. I don't know if we can do a replay on that. Nope, guess not. Sorry. There was what I thought was a foul, and the referee just let it go with the throw-in.
From the sound of the crowd, it sounded like the crowd thought the same thing, too. I heard some disgruntled people down below, but wasn't quite sure what it was. I had taken my eyes off it for a moment.
No, I think that the strategy of keeping the score very low, and if they had scouted the Bedford team, Wyndham might be looking for, a couple long-distance shots that have been scored, like you said, between the corners and direct kicks.
But it's difficult, though, if you're not moving the ball down the field like that. You're not going to get the corner. And for Bedford, the penalties that resulted in those 2 goals by Nashua North were a fair way out. And not the types of not good fouls, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Yeah, if we had a screen that we could mark up right now,
I'll get you an expo marker. You can just write it whatever you want.
Or on the windows here.
Yeah, no, I mean, Corey said it's okay.
This is the first time this season that I've seen this type of a defense. That you've just got so many white jerseys back there.
It was kind of harrowing to watch the game that the Bulldogs and Windham played.
Was this about the same? Do you remember? It's very similar to this?
Everybody was back, and it was pretty clear that they were playing for a tie. I do not remember. Ultimately, I believe Bedford scored a goal with about 6 minutes remaining in the game as Jenna Dindorf sends one through, but Wyndham comes up with it, sends it out of bounds. Willing to send it out of bounds, too, is a unique position, but Megan Husson does so, and now Jenna will take a throw up to Sloan. Go ahead.
If you're playing physically and you're trying to intimidate your opponent and looking for that possible, also a great way to get a goal is through a penalty kick. I say great way. One way that's good for one team, but if you don't get the ball down the other end into their penalty area, like this is the first time. Is this the first time the ball is being played by a Bedford keeper? Or second?
Yeah, that may be. But, I mean, all they were trying to do there was just send one over the top and have somebody run underneath it. But it is tough to outrun these Bedford defenders. That one near side, Annie Zink trying to outmaneuver Zakis, and she just sends it out of bounds. Bulldog throw forthcoming.
The official on this side has called more throw-ins in this game than I think we saw in the first half of a couple of the other Bedford games with the ball control when they're playing a more tightly controlled team.
The Windham defender had chested that ball. It went down toward the end line, and then rather than let it go out of bounds for a corner kick, which I understand, she sort of saved it along the end line, which effectively gave the Bulldogs what amounted to a corner kick just in motion. Kind of an odd decision there not to just send it out of bounds. Either way. Now the Bulldogs sending it up. Lila Yater giving chase, but can't catch up to it. Now Lila with it again. The freshman sends it toward the middle. You will look at things as Anna Diaz gets sent to the turf and is slow in coming up. That is not one that the Bulldogs would want to have get knocked out for any extended period of time.
Did you see anything occur over there? I did not.
I saw her get tripped, but that was about the extent of what I saw, and I saw her hit the ground reasonably hard.
Yeah, that would certainly be a shame.
Well, it would be devastating. Would be for the Bulldogs' playoff hopes to lose any of these players, but particularly somebody who's been kind of the centerpiece of the offense, the leading goal scorer in Anna Diaz. That's not somebody that you can easily replace. But there.
But and you know the girls' team so much better than I do, Lauren. Seeing them on the road as well. That. I've got the feeling that they've got the ability to even take an instance like this, if she is hurt, and kick it up a notch.
It appears that she's okay. They went jogging off. I think somebody wound up taking a timeout out of that. And now, I don't know who's down on the far side. I had seen Anna go down to a knee, but Michelle Winning's over there, and my best guess would be that's Lila Yater, the freshman, but I did not see what happened to her. And slow to get back to her feet.
She's up, though, and moving very gingerly.
Andrew Fenn back in the studio. Can you get a look at the number on that player? We are not able to see it, but at least from where we are.
Looks like someone may have even put a jacket over or warm-up top or something. It's a little chilly. I think it's about 52 degrees out here tonight. And there is a nip in the air for the first time this season, or first or second time. We got 30 minutes to go. We're just 10 minutes into the game when that occurred. And just restarting now.
Now the ball sent down the left side. Don't know who went back. Oh, and somebody dumped for the Bulldogs. Gets up, and the ball sent out of bounds, but the Dogs swapping out players as a result of the injury.
And I hate to talk about fouls and whatnot and whether or not the referees are in the right position. The one thing I do see so far is that the lead official so far this entire first half has moved into the field as the play does move across the field. Trail official doesn't seem to be quite as capable to move as quickly down back and forth.
And
he's kind of lagging a little bit.
Okay, good to know.
Sorry?
No, I was commenting on something that had happened, but it's long gone. Yeah. So the positioning of the officials is something that I know nothing about, other than, I guess, the best officials, right? You don't notice them until they're not where they're supposed to be.
Yep. I was in a restaurant following a matchup at Plymouth State College in Biederman's.
Yes.
You ever been to Biederman's?
Great restaurant.
A lot of people have been.
Amazing.
Years
yeah,
ago.
Big fan.
The crew, we stopped off there. And a
foul called quickly on the football 40. Sloan Correa mixing it up with Windham, and we will see whether the Bulldogs are ready to guard against this one. It has been hazardous at times for the Dogs. That one sent up into the box and tried to send right back out, but
Bedford did have numbers back there on defense. There's a lot of black jerseys back there, so they're hustling at back and forth both ends of the field here when they need to.
McKenna Snow sends that one out, and now coming back the other way, it's Anna Diaz. Anna looking to the right side and tried to send it to Libby Fox, but Zakis did a nice job stopping it. And now back the other way come the Jaguars. That one into the corner, and they have a body running full speed down that way, and the Bulldogs just send it out of bounds. It'll be a Windham throw.
Some nice touches, teamwork there by Windham. That's the first time that they've really put together a series of passes and moved the ball from one end to the other. That Biederman story just was...
Yes, continue.
Very simply that... We walked in, we were seated, and family walked past us talking about the game, and something was said and perked my ears up. And then listening, the people that came into the restaurant, one of which was one of the players, they did not know that we were the officials of the game.
Yep.
And said a few things.
I'm sure that was awkward.
But the things that they said about the officiating was good. Which
sometimes it works out like that.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Windham mounting a charge. Sloan Correa deflecting nicely. Now a pass sent toward the corner. Windham sprinting after it, but nothing doing. Their offensive player can't make a recovery. Sends it into the box, but not before it went over the end line, so it'll be a goal kick coming for the Dogs. We usually don't have a crowd like this in here, and I think it's a direct result of the weather.
I believe so. We do. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 down here, and Bill Jennings hanging out upstairs. Thank goodness there's not a breeze or much of a breeze up there this evening, because it would be... It's a little damp. We've got some rain coming in later tonight.
I said to Bill the last game that we did that I would rather be the guy up top broadcasting than being here. The sight lines are definitely better from up there than they are here.
Much better.
The injured player for the Bulldogs is senior Vashi Bajpai, and she went off very gingerly, and Vashi is a pretty vital cog in this Bulldog offensive engine, so not somebody that you want to lose there. Sloan Correa at midfield, sends it back. Jenna Dindorf. Jenna evaluating her options, has it stolen. and knocked away, and now Addie Kiley sends it toward midfield. But I will say, aside from the fact that they scored that early game, the Dogs not really connecting on passes to the extent that we would like them to be able to, and Windham is doing a far better job on offense than they did in the last game, although the takeaway after that last game was that was a Windham team that we saw that could easily have competed with the Bulldogs. Now CeCe Irwin with it, sends it in. Libby Fox on a run and is held back by Zakis. And the keeper, Rundy, comes up with it.
Almost an obstruction, the way that she stuttered step to slow down. And I think she put her arms out to the side as well, which...
How do you get, if you're the offensive player, how do you get that call?
Well, it helps if you do run into them,
and then
seriously.
That's an indirect
However,
kick, right?
Yes.
That's indirect, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't run into them so hard that you have to make it look like you make an effort to get around them. And then if they step off that line again, that's when you usually get the call.
If you had it stolen, now back the other way come the Bulldogs, and that was not before a penalty called. What was the call, Bill Klein?
It was a trip. She,
it was totally a
Bedford
trip.
Player stuck the foot out. It's either the foot or the hockey stick. In that case, it was the foot.
Can't have that.
The only thing the official didn't do was signal the direction, but it was pretty obvious to everybody which way it was going to go.
Kick taken by Stefanidis, and she will send it toward the scrum and put toward the net.
First shot on goal for Windham.
By Windham. That one, DeVue sending it in, but not with a whole lot of vigor behind it. Correa looks back, finds Nora Ripple. Nora directing traffic, now evaluates her options, sends it toward the middle, but CeCe Irwin off to the side in that striker position, not available to pick up the ball, and now the Bulldogs will watch the Jaguars head across midfield and try to contest this.
I think what Bedford would benefit from is not trying to attack with that long ball quite as early as they just did, but another back pass or two to work the numbers back up as they're attacking. Build an attack around midfield at a little slower rate, a little more ball control. So the numbers are just not there to be able to beat Windham. As you had mentioned earlier, it was the same strategy that they used down there.
Bedford
regular season.
Bedford clears it. Windham throw. Now the Bulldogs try to send it up. Ball toward midfield. And Windham not playing terribly clean offensively. They're not connecting on passes either, but it is tough to penetrate this defense when there are so many bodies back there. Now Annie Zink with it, sends it up the line, trying to find Libby, can't, and knocked out of bounds by Zakis, who is playing a very good game on defense for these Jaguars.
Part of what will be interesting to see as well is the fitness this evening, because this is going to be testing them, and to the extent that the defenders for Windham are playing so hard they have to, because they're getting attacked constantly. How they'll make out versus Bedford and Bedford's ability to maintain that ball control and get some more shots off. We haven't had a shot for a while from Bedford. One shot so far in the game for Windham.
And for the Bulldogs, their early shot in this game resulted in a goal. That one, a ball that CeCe Irwin put on net from the end line and wound up getting knocked in by Kenzie Forrester, her 7th of the year. And that's where we stand right now. The Bulldogs on top 1-0. Almost 19 minutes gone by in half number 1.
Yeah, the first half, especially because of that injury timeout, it's taken quite a while to play.
Do you have somewhere to be?
Well, there is another game this evening someplace that some people care about.
I'm told that there are. Oh, that game. Well,
oh yeah, that game.
You might care about it because your team is fighting for its life. My team is up 3-0, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Tell you the truth, neither team interests me much at all, Lauren.
Oh, come on! It's good baseball.
Not a huge fan of either team, but I, like you, would like to see a 5th game. That would be good. And I know one of my best friends, as I mentioned, was he already has tickets for tomorrow night, Game 5. Take his son.
You don't want to lose that.
No, I don't know. How do they work that, by the way?
You get a refund, but you don't get a refund on the memory.
No, that's for sure. One of the things, an evening like tonight, your hand's obviously cold. I'm surprised there's not a few more players that are wearing gloves.
What are your feelings about gloves?
Nothing wrong with them.
Really?
No, I only see one. Is it number 1 for that's Windham. Bedford.
I know there are certain people who are particular about players wearing gloves. I will tell you that the varsity assistant, Sean Diaz, not a proponent of gloves.
No, really?
Yes, no. Now, I'm not sure why, but it's just one of those things with Sean when you talk to him about it. Not a, not something he will not tell a player not to wear them, but he chooses not to. And his kid Anna touches the ball, has it stolen. And now Cece Irwin sends it back near side, finds Sloan Correa, looking for Annie Zink. Great ball. Annie sends it toward the middle, and Anna now sends it toward the keeper, Rundy, who fields the infield fly. About
nice
21 minutes gone by here in the first half. Yes.
Nice to see Anna back out there. Did she just go in that last change?
There were two players who went down at the same time. Anna Diaz had gotten tripped, but Vashi Bajpai was the other one who was getting medical attention. Vashi has not entered the game, and I wouldn't figure that she would. Don't know what the severity of her injury is, but you have to imagine if you have a lead in a game, you just want a player to get healthier and not risk further injury.
Absolutely.
Couple finals. Did we give these finals, or am I losing my mind? Winnicott beat Portsmouth 3-0. And Timberlane in an upset. If you had the 10 over the 7 in your October Madness bracket, Timberlane won Hanover nothing. So
yeah, that's the upset so far.
Yeah.
And Timberlane, what were they seeded? 12th or something?
Timberlane was a 10 seed.
10 seed.
Yeah, this is not the NCAA's where 12 always wins. Sloan Correa, nice move to come up with that ball and then had her pocket picked almost immediately. Now to Anna. Back pass for the Bulldogs. McKenna Snow rifles it toward midfield. Now Kenzie Forrester giving chase up the left side. Kenzie takes a touch and thinking about sending it toward the middle. Instead, the Windham defender has it go off her foot, and it will be a Bulldog corner kick coming up with 22-25 gone by in half number 1. And we haven't had Kenzie take one of these in a minute, but she is certainly a weapon in this situation. Sent in and into the side of the net. So that never one that you like to see.
No.
We were having conversations about that last night. Send it to the 6.
Dead ball situations.
Let things happen. Yep.
Yeah. You have that opportunity, the ball on the player, and all you got to do is strike it well. And the worst place to put it is simply out of bounds.
Windham plays it back to the defender. Now Bedford winds up taking the ball. CC, Anna, back middle to Sloan.
Nice touch there.
Sloan tried to find Nora Ripple, but sent it behind her, and Nora can't catch it out of bounds. What we just saw and I'll defer to you as a seasoned soccer coach more than myself, where the keeper sends it to a defender along the end line, who then sends it to another defender along the end line. We saw that a lot in the last game the girls played against Dover. And there was an occasion where the Bulldogs were trailing 1-0. And Bedford was able to cause a steal. And Anna Diaz wound up turning that into a goal for her team that tied the game up at 1. But what is the rationale behind, instead of having a kicker with a stronger leg take that dead ball, basically, for all intents and purposes, hit a drive and send it out, versus sending it to players along the back line where all of a sudden now the defense can pursue them?
Did it start with a goal kick?
It started with a goal kick.
Okay. Quite frankly, part 1 of my answer to you is that back when I was coaching, you couldn't do that.
Okay.
you weren't allowed to play it within the goal area. The ball had to leave the area before either team could play the ball again.
It leaves the small area.
Yes.
Okay. But it's not leaving the box.
Penalty area.
Yeah,
right.
it's
You got
leaving the penalty area. Yes.
Penalty area. And the goal area, which is 6 yards, 1/3 of the distance, do a little math here, 18-yard line for the penalty area distance from goal line to penalty area line. I think what it is, it's you're trying to pull back some of the offensive players towards the goal, into your face, and then you get the ball over behind them. So you may have a player-man advantage around midfield. Maybe not.
But it requires a certain amount of skill on the part of.
Absolutely,
I mean, the Bulldogs are a team that could theoretically be able to do it with a player like McKenna Snow, who has the ability to maneuver around play. Like, she's like a point guard. With her, you have options where she's dribbling and could theoretically send one over. But if you have players who are not quite that strong, it can be a tactic that can result in disaster.
Exactly.
Because a turnover down in the corner, there's way more that can go wrong down there than can go right.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many multiple passes to get the ball out of the area. The way you described that one, I'd have to see it.
It's Dover had the keeper, obviously, and then they had a player a few yards to the right of the keeper and another player to the right of that. That one sent into the keeper, Rundy, who catches it at her chest. And she will roll it to the left. What we saw, though, with Dover in that game was a team that was undoubtedly fighting for its playoff life, and the loss to the Bulldogs cost them a playoff spot because they wound up out of the money. They wound up as the number 15 and didn't get there.
Marin Armstrong going out, I believe, for Windham. I didn't see who came in. Somebody else.
Lauren Zakis also leaving. And that one off of CeCe Irwin. It will be a throw coming from Riley Zakis. Nora, Libby, CeCe threading the needle, trying to make something happen. And content to try to wait for that ball to go out of bounds was Megan Husson. And it will be a goal kick coming up for these Windham Jaguars, facing a 1-0 deficit.
Just over 12 minutes left in the first half. And for the first time this season, with this being playoff, we will have the potential of overtime. 2 10s.
Kind of fun. It is 2 10s. I had received other information, so
2 10s.
It is 2 10s. Okay.
The first two preliminary quarterfinals 10s, and then semis and finals 15s.
Okay.
And that's New Hampshire. That's a state-by-state thing, just like during the regular season. And Peter Lally is one of the people that I called back in the beginning of the season to ask about the suddenly no overtime during regular season. And he may talk about that briefly when we get together at halftime.
So it's 2 10s, and then it goes to what?
2 15s.
Okay.
In the next, I'm sorry. Penalty kicks.
Okay. So
Penalty
2 10s and then immediately to PKs.
Correct.
Wow, all right.
Correct. 5 players initially, then another set of 5, and another set of 5. Different players through the first group like that, the first 2. I'm pretty sure. First 10 players will be different. And it could be one of the keepers. They change every so often. Some of the keepers like to give the keeper a chance to take that shot when they practice. Kids generally, high school players love to practice penalty kicks. But I think generally I'm not going to say a waste of time, but you can do better things with your time, because you can go through in a season where you get only 2 or 3 chances. And you usually have a couple players that are your key players, and that's why you see percentage-wise, that just because player X goes down, player X may not be the one the coach sets up with the ball.
Diaz with it, lost it right off her shin, and now Windham will try to clear. But they're, in spite of the fact that they have 7, 8 players back, they're kind of struggling to clear it a bit. And the Bulldogs now see Kenzie Forrester running down the left side. The ball sent out of bounds. It will be a Bulldog throw coming.
A little bit of a fitness thing, I think, is that's possibly. Do you see that, Lauren? They're a little tired.
It may be. It also may be a bit more of a strategy thing, but. And they may be. Ball sent into the middle. Now Windham will clear it. And now Addie Kiley will give chase. Great job by Addie to hold it, not just send it out of bounds. Now looks to the middle, finds Libby. Libby, Cece toward the middle. Nope. Cece somehow maintains. Now Libby with it. Back to the middle to Anna. Anna right to left, now loses it, and it's sent toward the stick, and that one's going to be a corner for the Bulldogs with about 30-24 left here in the first. Not quite certain why in that situation you would flirt with disaster quite as she did.
You very, very seldom see a player clear the ball off the field from the middle of the field like that. That was almost right down the center line of the field, Warren. That was bizarre. And to give up a corner, that didn't make any sense at all.
Now,
wait a minute, what's going on?
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
That's a corner.
What the heck? Are you kidding me?
They awarded them a throw. That's one of the most bizarre things I've seen. That one a corner by about 4 feet. Wasn't even close.
We even had some from some fans
parents yelling that's a corner.
That's a corner.
They're not wrong, but yeah, you control the controllables. But that one a rather odd missed call early in the game, and that one pretty cut and dry too.
And now the official on that side of the field was in the play. He could not get out of the way of the play.
Interesting though, he may not have been able to get out of the way of the play, but at that point in time, wouldn't you ask for help from the official on the other side of the field?
No, I was just referring to that. Yes, they should have communicated better because either one of them should have been able to see which side of it wasn't in the air. If it had been up high in the air, but it just rolled out clearly. I don't know on replay how far.
It was a solid 4 feet.
It had to be. It was more than a yard.
It was not one that you would have run replay on if we were talking Major League Baseball. This was not a fair foul. This was, but is what it is.
Yes, it is, and hopefully that doesn't. Obviously it didn't affect the game immediately. If it had been the other way around, that had the potential to be much more disastrous if a goal had been scored. And
Kenzie Forrester sent down to the ground, and it will be a foul. That may have been Lila Yater over there, actually. And now the Bulldogs will have a good chance. This is better than a corner.
Yes, it is.
Make the argument.
Yep.
And you have McKenna Snow taking it. And if you want to stand in the way of McKenna Snow on a free kick, you're a better man than I. No desire to do that. I like whatever's left in my teeth.
Let's see if they can get a decent kickoff.
McKenna chips it. The keeper, Rundy, fields it on the hop. Nice play by Rundy coming up with it.
Kind of made it easy for Rundy to come out off the line and pick that one up, unfortunately. It was too much of a straight line between her and the middle of the goal.
Right.
You got to put it
a little higher.
Either higher or wider. To the right would give a player coming in, moving in off that line that they had established, the big long wall, the Great Wall of Bedford, to be able to attack the ball then.
Cece tried to find Annie. It was stolen. Now Annie winds up coming up with it left side. Back to Cece. To Libby.
Nice touches.
Now Anna Diaz with one and just kind of didn't have the best opportunity at it. It wasn't really a clear shot. Sends it over the end line, and it will be a goal kick forthcoming for the Jaguars, trailing 1-0.
And here's your
34 minutes gone by.
Wide pass over there, dangerous. Look at this.
Right, and you do that,
Foolish.
and then you wind up
foolish.
with Annie with it. Now a quick touch pass.
Just
missed it. Right idea.
Oh, that was great idea.
Give and go.
And they usually don't make a mistake like that. That was clear, Lauren, relative to what you were talking about before about the square pass inside the penalty. Here they're going to the right side this time. Just get the player way out there. If they're good enough to handle this, that's fine, but they're not.
Right, and the other problem is the players inevitably wind up sending it back toward the middle, which is just, again, a recipe for disaster.
And in that case, the Windham defender was way out wide, so that player's taken out of the ensuing play out in front of the goal mouth. I don't understand that strategy. Although it's eating up some time instead of giving the ball straight back to Bedford, maybe? Part of the idea of clogging up the middle.
If you have a player like a McKenna Snow who can really be a quarterback in that situation, it's a different story. But
yes.
Ball back and forth on the far sideline. Bill Klein pulling out a bunch of chicken scratch over there. Looks like somebody's medical chart, only you're not a doctor. That one off of Nora, now sent back. Addie Kiley chips it up and over. Oh, man, why do you have a stethoscope? That's just weird.
Well,
it's like a prop. We need a camera here in the studio.
And this is not my Halloween costume either.
This is playoff soccer. We got to make sure that we're all still.
You never know when you need it. Maybe someone up here could listen if my heart starts to palpitate or something.
That was like you were on Let's Make a Deal, and Monty Hall said, "Does anybody have a stethoscope in their bag?" And Bill Klein, "Here, I have a stethoscope."
Well,
I'm not old
you
enough
didn't
to
know,
watch
Lauren,
Let's Make a Deal.
but I did make money a long time ago as a magician. So I just pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
Except you pulled a stethoscope out of a laptop bag.
Yeah, I know.
Lila Yater looking near side. Annie Zink now with it. Stumbles, has it taken away by Zakis. And Zakis sends it up the line and chipped back in by Nora Ripple. And Yater now with it. Tried to find Annie. Couldn't. Ball sent out of bounds by Zakis. And it will be a Bedford throw. With about 37 gone by here in half number one. Sloan Correa has the throw and go past her. And now gets elbowed out of the way. And now the Bulldogs see the ball all the way to the back line. Snow to Dindorf. Now to the middle and knocked out of bounds, and it will be a Windham throw coming. Jenna with a good ball trying to find Anna Diaz up that side.
Just over 2 minutes left in the first half. The opportunities have come from Bedford, but Bedford, other than the goal scoring, not really had much of other opportunities to stick the ball in the back. And that, as far as actual shots on goal and saves, probably only 3 or 4. Lauren, would you guess?
Thereabouts.
Good guess. Best guess.
Emma Peterson in for the Bulldogs. This is the time of year, too, where it gets tough at practice. And I can say this as a coach, where you've worked on just about everything to this point, and you know your players are physically fit. And you get to a point you're like, all right, what can we do? How can we make these as productive as we can be? And for the Bulldogs now, you have to use this game in a lot of ways as a bunch of opportunities to get better. Now Emma Peterson and winds up, it looked like maybe sending it off the foot of Husson, but unable to do so. But it is tough to simulate a game feeling in a practice, particularly late in the season. That gets very tough.
Yeah. And they're, some of the girls, some of the players might be a little tired. It's been a long year. Here's a shot. And
Anna rifles one right at Grundy and at eye level blocks it, comes up with it. But Anna smelled blood in the water, as it were. thought she had an opportunity. Now Sloan Correa receives the kick. Sloan near side, tried to find Petey, and that one not quite connected on. We're in the waning minutes here of the first half. The clock has been stopped at that 2-minute mark, so the time being done down on the field now.
That was a great
Nora
hit play.
chips it over to Lila, off of Lila's leg, and the keeper Rundy comes sliding out after it, but man, she almost slid past it.
Yeah, that wasn't a graceful sort of a save, but she did what she needed to do, and it might be a little slippery out there now, Lauren. I don't know if I don't spend that much time on this field under different weather conditions, but that was a nice pass.
Left side to Devu. And now McKenna Snow will send it toward midfield. And the one thing we don't know at this point, I guess, is how much time is remaining.
But very, very little. I think the whistle's going to blow in.
And sure enough, there it is. So with that, the Bulldogs have themselves a 1-0 lead at halftime. Their goal came from Kenzie Forrester off the foot of CeCe Irwin. Gave that Bulldogs that 1-0 lead with 1:52 gone by in the first, and that's where we stand right now. We are back here at Bulldog Stadium. Lauren Fox alongside Bill Klein and Andrew Fenn back in the BCTV studios. There we go, rocking and rolling. Bill Jennings upstairs, braving the cold like he's Vin Scully back in the old days. So a beautiful night for a soccer game, although it's a little bit crispy here at Bulldog Stadium. Taking a look at the D1 Girls Soccer Tournament bracket. We talked about this earlier. Winnacunnet with a 3-0 win over Portsmouth. Timberlane an upset, 1-0 over Hanover. As a prize, they will now get to face the number 2 seed Exeter. And the Bulldogs of Bedford here leading 1-0. Pinkerton 3-0 victors over the Salem Blue Devils, and so Salem's season comes to an end.
Kind of an incredible year in a way, the way the regular season went, because Bedford did not have to play BG
Yes,
or Exeter.
Or Exeter. Very strange. The standings had more ties than Macy's on Father's Day. And what we also had, so you had teams playing for that. So that was an added wrinkle that hopefully something gets done about in the not distant future. And North 1, South 0 in the Battle of the Nashuas.
I think what we're saying is that it's actually a 1-1 tie.
It is
right
a 1-1 tie, actually. So 1-1. Of course, for the Bulldogs, they lost to North 2-0. They beat South 4-0. So for Bedford, it really doesn't matter. Either of those teams you wouldn't see until the finals anyway. But whatever team wins that will then have the privilege of playing the number 1 seed Bishop Girton Cardinals. So that one would not be an easy matchup. Now Kenzie Forrester, a full head of steam, runs into the defender for Windham and spins Megan Husson around. And now the Bulldogs are going from right to left. They are wearing black with red numbers. Windham wearing white with blue numbers.
It's red stealth numbers.
Stealth numbers, yeah. I generally can't read the numbers from in here. Somebody asked me if I saw what happened on something in the first half, and I said, you guys have a better view down there than we do up here.
You have the big advantage, though, is you know most of the girls, and you can just tell who they are based on their positions and whatnot.
Generally, shoes.
I honestly
shoes are
can't.
money.
Shoes.
Yeah. Couldn't spot anybody. If they were all wearing the same shoes, it would be, your guess is as good as mine. Although certain of them have distinctive running styles. McKenna Snow, who just chased that ball to the end line, qualifies in that group. So for these Bulldogs, they lead at 1-0. I think they would like to get another goal or two, but not going to put any thoughts into their heads. But you want to have a little bit more of a margin. Now McKenna Snow will send that one toward midfield. Lila Yater up there, the freshman, precocious, sends it up the right side. Annie Zink tries to run underneath it, instead is met with a Windham defender and somehow jars the ball loose. And now Windham clears it over the sideline. That one will be a corner kick.
At the end of this week, we also have a last game of the season for the Bedford Bulldog football team. They play their last game 6:30 over at Keene. And Bedford's 8-0, Keene 4-4 going into this final regular season match. And from what I understand, seeding-wise, as long as Bedford wins that game on Friday evening versus Keene, they will end up the #1 seed overall.
It's the old Bobby Bowden saying, we don't recruit, we reload. And that's the way it's been for the Bulldogs for the last few years. They have put together a bit of a dynasty on the gridiron. And it's been a joy to watch. Although you sort of lose. Of course, they won that game in 2023 against Londonderry, that playoff game where Colby Snow wound up kicking the field goal.
Yes, that's right.
To give the Bulldogs a win. And other than that, they haven't been met with a whole lot of challenges in the last couple seasons.
No, the game this past week, everybody thought was going to, 2 undefeated teams, both 6-0. But it really was, oh my goodness, is that
one sent into the box, and it looked like it went off the chest of Husson and out of bounds, and it will be a corner kick coming for the Bulldogs.
It looked like it could have been an own goal. The way that the field hockey goal is just over in a position.
That would be a rather large goal, Bill. You do you. Kenzie Forrester sends it into the box. That time it's the 6. Bill Klein approves of that one. Bulldogs trying to hold it in.
Kenzie almost was able to pluck that out of the air.
Like a trained seal. Over there, Meredith Wright kept it alive with her nose.
Gabe Teixeira in the last boys game scored one, plucked it out of the air like that, and banged it into the back of the net. Beautiful goal. I can picture Ana Diaz doing that tonight, or any one of the other Bedford.
The vaunted
Bulldogs.
Playing it like a seal goal.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, whatever works. You don't get style points for goals. Like, this isn't diving. Nothing is on a degree of difficulty, so a goal is a goal.
Well, yes, you say that. However, one of the games earlier this season, there was a bicycle skip, Corey.
That was Eli Caplow, of course.
Eli Caplow, that's right. You never will forget that, and you hope somebody's got the camera in the right position at the right time for that one.
Cap is turning into has turned into, I should say, one of the best players in the state in his senior campaign, and he was good. And I had people who watched that Bulldog Hanover game last year as that one sent over top. Lila Yater now with it. Make a move, Lila, one-on-one. Sent it off her defender, now finds it taken away from her, but a good play by the Bulldogs to get it up there. Now Ana Diaz fighting for the ball, sees Kenzie near side. Kenzie left foot, and that one will head out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick coming for the Jaguars, but
not a shot on goal, unfortunately.
The Bulldogs last year, Capello was like an unsung hero of that team. He was a junior. And this year, with some of the senior talent moving on, matriculating to other places, well, Capello has become one of the better players in the state. And it has been certainly a joy to see, and the coaching staff's been delighted by it. I don't know if you and Coach Pepper touched on that during your halftime chat.
One of the primary things I think that the Coach Pepper mentioned was how I mentioned that the players year after year after year seem to be playing together so well on the Bedford side, and the very high percentage of our players are in fact playing together in youth soccer from when they're little.
You say youth soccer and it sounds so quaint, Bill. It is
this 3-0 Winnicott Portsmouth. Did we already announce that one?
Yes, we have announced that one.
We did.
Yes. My bracket's busted because Hanover lost to Timberlane, so I'm out. Like, everybody else is going to win the pool. I'm done. It's brutal. Every year this happens. Somebody who doesn't know anything about soccer wins the pool, not me.
Oh my God!
I do not have a pool on Division I New Hampshire girls soccer. If I did, I would give out the gambling hotline number.
And I closed my pool up just
different kind of pool, Bill Klein. Different kind of pool.
We're not talking the same kind of pool. Okay. I felt guilty back. The squares for Super Bowl.
Yep.
This goes back, oh my God, about 20, 25 years ago. Ski Patrol, we had somebody set it up, and we put in a significant amount of money per square, and
I don't even want to know where this is going.
I felt bad. I won it. What do you mean you won it? Yeah, I won every single quarter.
Hey, you know what?
Final score, the whole
and then,
thing.
You may feel bad, but how many years does it happen as CeCe Irwin picks the pocket of the Windham mid, and now Windham, the defender does a great job sending it up, finds Lauren Zakis, but quickly stolen. Now, the Bulldogs kind of playing a little bit disorganized, as Kenzie Forrester has it stolen. Anna Diaz tripped up, and they will say no call. Whoa, boy. They will say
what?
It is a Windham throw.
Replay. Andrew.
He's not Siri. But regardless, now Anna Diaz playing with a little bit of fury about that one, but the parents down below are apoplectic, to say the least. Anna down the line gets tripped, and yeah, that's kind of how that works. But this is the same official who also missed that corner kick earlier on, and now Windham moving down like it's a football game, just 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Lauren, wasn't that both? He missed the throw in direction as well as the. It would have been a throw for Bedford.
Yes.
It was both.
It would make sense, but
it was Bedford no matter what.
It is what it is. I'm happy that they are here and doing games, because we need officials to make games happen. But
we need officials in every sport,
and like with anything, you know as well as I do, since the dawn of time, people have complained about officiating. So.
Yes, they have, and it's so difficult.
I mean, David got called for an illegal forward pass when he threw the stone. So,
I was waiting for something like that.
It is what it is. 1-0 Bulldogs. About 8:42 gone by here in half number 2. But for Bedford, you want to get a little bit of sustained offense taking place, and for these Windham Jaguars, Lila Boucher makes her way out, and Kylie Camden heads in. For Bedford, this was, and we didn't touch on this in the pregame, but when you look at the standings, everybody has several ties. The Bulldogs somehow made it through the season with exactly 0, which in a season where you're not playing any kind of overtime, anything like that, it is absolutely uncanny. The only team that didn't tie, other than the Bulldogs, was Spalding, which was 2-14, and that was for a different reason. But for the Bulldogs to wind up 14-2 in this season was certainly unique.
I did not realize that to that extent, Lauren. However, it's interesting because I did notice on the boys' side,
oh my goodness,
there's
BG
not a
with
single
6 ties.
0. There were more ties this year, I'm willing to bet, than ever before. Look at that, 6.
Yeah, 6
4,
ties.
3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4,
That's
4.
that's
3,
so
3,
fun.
3, 3. It's crazy. We're getting more messages.
Yes, you need your mic closer to your mouth. Andrew Fenn, our producer, back in the studio. Windham with a substitution.
Our coaching staff, our broadcasting coaching staff.
Yeah,
Bill Jennings.
we need that a little bit.
We do at times.
Bulldogs trying to clear, and really, this has not been a very precise half for Bedford, would be a good way to say it. Now CeCe on the run, up the middle of the field. CeCe with a dribble that was a little bit too far out in front. Now Windham steals, sends it back the other way, and sent out of bounds by the Bulldogs. Windham throw coming from the far side.
Andrew, can you pull that back? Show us if there was offsides on that ball. It looked to me like it was possibly offsides. Hit downfield.
Neither here nor there.
Windham. No?
Bulldogs wound up
no replay.
Sending out of bounds, and that was that.
No replay for you. No replay for you.
Now 28:50 remaining in the game here. Husson sends it up the side. McKenna Snow does a dance over the ball, trying to...
No signal, but now a goal kick signal.
Trying to get the defender to, or trying to get the offensive player to commit one way or the other, and McKenna winds up getting the offensive player to send it out of bounds over the end line, and the official signals it is a Bedford goal kick. And for the Bulldogs, again, you have that weapon on the back line, and McKenna Snow do some damage. She sends it up the right side, bounces over the head of the Windham offensive player, and now the Bulldogs are back the other way. Chipped up and over to Annie Zink, and sent out of bounds by Avery Stefanidis, and it will be a Bulldog throw coming. Bulldogs lead 1-0, but man, you want right now an insurance goal.
Absolutely.
A 1-0 lead right now is simply not enough. You could have a fluke that happens, you could have a penalty in the wrong spot. So if you're the Bulldogs, you got to find another way to find the back of the net and refocus. And unfortunately, scoring that first goal a minute and 52 in, it's like you have the abundance of riches, and you don't play with quite as much care after that happens. Now, Sloan sends it back. Addie Kiley sends it up and over, trying to find Lila Yater. Can't. And the Bulldogs are not playing their game, I guess would be the best way to put it in the second half. They're trying to make the big play instead of the next best pass.
Yeah, they put the ball up in the air more in this game, I believe, than they have in any one game this season, and that shows when that last pass by Yater, the ball that was put up in the air, and there's one Bedford player there surrounded by 4 or 5 Windham players. Substitution coming here, and while they're doing that, I'm just going to shout out to a runner, a really good prior soccer player, Nikita Barry.
Oh yeah,
who
the queen of cross country.
Never run cross country, never done distance.
By saying that, though, you're almost implying that she had never perambulated forward, and I don't want to
No, she was on the track team.
This isn't a novice. She was an indoor track competitor who
very good indoor track
has still continued to be a very good one. So it's not like they took a kid who had been sitting there on the couch playing PlayStation and said, "You're going to win this."
However, Lauren, what a huge difference.
Oh, she had an amazing season. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And one of my friends happens to be one of the officials. And I said, "Did you see Makita by any chance?" And he said, "She started the race off in a manner that they've never ever seen a young girl like that do. First 500 meters, she won the race." He said she took off with so much confidence. It was like, what the heck? Where is she going? And she kept it up. She won by 32 seconds.
That's like Secretariat.
I said to my friend, I said, "I guess she's an elite runner." And he said she's much more than an elite runner.
Stefanidis plays it back to the keeper, Rundy, who sends it to the middle. And, man, that thing checked up nicely if you're a golfer, I guess. Now Snow will head it. This is, I will say, that one's going to check up nicely, too.
Yeah.
If you are a Bulldog partisan, though, you are falling into playing a style of play that is just not their style right now, and you need to dial it back and remember what got you here, which is connecting on crisp passes and not trying to hit the home run every time out.
And that's a difference relative to the coaching of a sport like this in football. With football, you can take a timeout and talk to the team about that. Here, you can communicate it in by a couple substitutions or something. But
here we go. Now connecting on some passes. Anna, Cece, far side, Annie, knocked out of bounds. Bulldog throw coming. So there we go.
Not Bulldog throw.
Well, I was wrong. I've been wrong before, but. And Jess Black into the game for the Bulldogs. Not sure who is exiting for Bedford, but we know that if Jess is in, we will see some connections on those passes for sure. And that one sent past the striker, Yater. She just got tangled up in the Windham defenders, goes out of bounds, and it will be a goal kick coming for the Jaguars.
Well, let's see if they're going to do the same strategy with that short goal kick that they've been doing and playing it laterally.
I would find it hard to believe if they didn't now.
Yeah, it's been
Yater
consistent.
will give chase. Sent. Anna Diaz blocked.
And then the next two
Kenzie
touches
Forrester
are Bedford players.
To the middle now. Jess Black has it poked away. And now to the middle. And that's not how you would draw that up if you're Windham, but they now have the ball across midfield. Diaz trying to find Yater. Now back, Jess Black, back to Black. It's like a
back to Black.
No, it's like either Yeah, Amy Winehouse or AC/DC, depending on what word you choose to connect the two.
Not fans of either.
That's all right.
But
you don't have
I
to
know
be.
what you're referring
Yep.
to.
All right, good.
Hey.
1-0 Bulldogs. Nearly 17 minutes have gone by here in the second half. And ball chipped in, and Windham still content to play things back. Now a left foot coming and sent up and over by Jess Black. Good idea. And it will be a goal kick coming for these Jaguars.
Yeah, it certainly is a different second half as well, where although Windham hasn't had shot opportunities, they're still moving the ball a little bit better around the field, and Bedford is kicking the ball to them more often than they do. Just kicking the ball instead of passing. And we have a player in the middle of the field still jogging off, and the play started.
They're going to reset that.
On
Yep.
that. Keep an eye on things, everybody.
And right back the other way. Now back to the near side. And Lila Yater will give chase. And the ball is sent over the sideline. Will be a Bedford throw coming. So that, I question the wisdom of a play like that. Because
you should.
If you wanted to do that, why don't you just have your players taking the goal kick, send it over the end line, and cut out the middleman entirely?
I don't understand it other than taking up a little more time, like I said, maybe.
But if you're trying to win this game and you're trailing 1-0, the clock is not your friend. You don't want to take time. This isn't, you're not milking anything. Like,
do they have a secret weapon? Some girl that can run down the field with one breakaway and go one-on-one and beat the keeper?
If that was the case, why wouldn't you have done it in the first? Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's a secret. They want to keep it a secret as long as they can.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It's strange. It's a really strange strategy that I haven't seen. And I'm referring to the combination of strange strategies being played. No offense, Windham parents, team players, and whatnot. It's just some things that we haven't seen.
You haven't seen them. I've seen them because
yes.
I am a loyal Bedford soccer fan. That one chipped up. Rundy will come to the edge of the box, field it on a hop,
and certainly Bedford has a reputation, both the boys and girls team, for a very highly skilled team. The style of play, the touches.
Jess Black managed to head that ball while she was being armbarred and pulled backward, as I do the exact same thing to Bill Klein. Bill's like,
caught me by surprise.
What are you doing to me, buddy?
Did it look like I was sleeping?
Jess, good ball.
I can pull my stethoscope
sent
out.
Off of Kenzie. Now Lila Yater at the keeper on the hop, and the keeper will pick it up on 2 hops, but man, she dropped that one.
Was that Anna Diaz right there?
It was Kenzie who had it deflect off of her. Lila Yater sent it toward the keeper, and the keeper Rundy played it on 2 hops, and it popped out. And if it were the NFL, it would not have been a catch because she didn't have her hands under the ball. But this is not the NFL.
No.
Regardless, she was in possession of the ball, and that you can't kick it out from under her.
This is going to be a corner, I think. Maybe? No? Nope. Not tonight anyway.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't see it, so I didn't see who touched it, so I'm not even going to begin to guess.
I couldn't tell. Part of it was the way that the Windham player was running at that speed thought to save it. She thought it was going to be a corner. Wanted to prevent that. So here you notice, sports fan, that the ball is the goal kick and the ball's kicked out of the goal area. Historically, the way it's usually done.
And sent out now by Windham. The Bedford throw will ensue and gets through the Windham defender. Now a touch pass from Yater to Kenzie. Kenzie moving up the left side. Now Kenzie back toward the middle. Kenzie looking to the middle to Jess Black. Couldn't quite connect, a little ahead of her. And now Emma Peterson sends it toward the middle. And the Bulldogs will chase. And go ahead.
I'll give Windham credit defensively for the way that they're stacking up that 3. It looks like they've got a diamond strategy right there in the center of the backfield. defensively. And
Lila Yater was the recipient of a great pass from Anna Diaz, but Lila was offside from me to you, and I'm talking about me to you as in not me and you, but our fans listening. She was offside by the distance from me to Kevin Gibbs doing PA down the line.
I think that might have been just the first offsides.
You may be right. Now, a deflection. Windham can tend to play it back, but at some point they're going to have to pull some players up, try to wind up making something happen as they send it over the end line. A goal kick forthcoming.
I think.
It appears that way. Jenna Dindorf in. I believe Kenzie Forrester out.
On days like today, you get in a tournament and you've got all these games being played on the same day all over the state. And of course, they're, tonight's the girls' first round. Tomorrow it's boys. The girls aren't playing. But another division is. And another division's playing right now, probably. Boys. And it takes a lot of officials. So
it absolutely does.
It's not easy to get them.
Oh, no. And that's absolutely the point.
And the closer the games, in some cases, you're looking for an official that you may want someone special, one of the better officials at that site. So it's a very difficult job assigning.
Meredith Reich takes the throw, deflection to Anna Diaz. Anna will send it in.
Very good.
Angled ball to Jenna Dindorf, and Jenna tried to get it before it crossed the end line, but couldn't quite square it up, and winds up catching the side of the net. So it will be a goal kick coming for the Jaguars.
Just not quite quick enough to pick up that.
Wow, look at this.
Speed.
We got picture in picture. North and South tied at 1, 10:27 remaining in the game. And it appears that a player is receiving medical attention in that game, so we will stick to what's going on here. Great pass, Meredith Reich to Diaz. Tried to find
Thank you, Andrew.
Zink up the near side. Well done. I didn't know he had access to those kind of toys.
Well, that's why we're not getting that much replay from him, because he's playing around with other stuff up there.
That's
in the
fun.
Studio.
It's neat.
Doing a great job.
Right.
And we are so gifted.
Andrew is gifted. We are not.
Well, I was Andrew Fenn at the New Hampshire Broadcaster Association awards ceremony.
Impressive.
A couple people asked me, they said, geez, you look an awful lot older, Andrew. But other than that, I won't say anything, other than the fact that I did accept your award, Andrew. It's in the trunk of my car. You have to fight me to get it. I think you deserved it. There should be more categories for the kind of work that this Bedford crew does. They do an amazing effort through, and I'm not talking just sports, but covering so much that they do for Bedford that the people that don't have access can't get to meetings and whatnot. Outstanding coverage all around. Bill Jennings, Colleen, Andrew, you're great. Shout out to you. And if I can have a raise next year, I'd appreciate that.
I'm not quite sure how to respond to any of that.
Lauren is speechless.
I'm speechless.
Doesn't happen.
A first time for everything. So, yeah. Ball sent back by the Bulldogs. Now Sloan Correa play quarterback, look up far side. Now Sloan with it again, trying to find Jenna Dindorf. It rattles back. Nora Ripple sends it up and over. And
onside.
Lila Yater giving a run. The keeper Rundy coming out and came awfully close to coming across that yellow line, which would have been a PK. And
no.
What would it have been? Direct from there? It's a handball if you come out?
Yes, if the keeper handles the ball outside the area.
All right.
It's simply a handball, just like with any other player. So it would have been direct on that goal line.
Sent out of bounds.
Sorry, penalty area line. 18. It's referred to as the 18.
Right. Not really somewhere that you want to have that happen.
No.
Now the ball sent in, and Windham will send it out of bounds, and it will be a Bedford throw coming, but For a team that is trailing 1-0 as Windham is, they're not playing with a ton of urgency. And for these Bulldogs, you just want to find a way to, again, get that insurance goal. And they called offsides down there in the corner, I believe.
I guess so.
It
hard to tell.
It was not the typical kind of play that you think of when you think of offsides, but
I missed it. I was looking at a note that Andrew just sent us. And by the way, Harry Kozlowski accepted an award for one of his radio programs on, that would be on WBNH radio. And
Windham with it. They look like they're going to have a shot. Nope. Anna Diaz, great job knocking the ball away, and that one will be sent out of bounds by Addie Kiley. A throw coming by Windham, now taken by Lila Yater. Lila bumps it, and that one will be sent back to the keeper, Rundy, and Rundy will send it to her left.
BCTV and WBNH is up for 7 awards, potentially nominated, coming up in December.
Great ball, Lila to Jenna, and now that one into the box, and Annie Zink had a shot at it, but the keeper or the defender knocked it away. Not sure who.
We've got replay.
Yep, great
Thank
ball.
you, Andrew.
Great ball to Jenna to come up with it. I'm not sure how she threaded the needle there. And now it looks like Megan Husson winds up knocking it out. And as a result, it's going to be a Bedford corner coming.
And Megan was limping there a little bit. I think she caught a little kick to the ankle. But not a foul, because she was definitely going for the ball.
Kenzie Forrester heading in. And now Anna Diaz will send it toward the 6, and it will rattle through there finally before Windham clears.
Yeah, it was a nice ball. That was a nice corner, but unfortunately the other end of it.
Out of bounds, and they will say Bedford throw is coming. 11-12 remaining here in the game.
Thought that could have been a foul over there, but
well, let's face it, we're looking at it through tinted glass from 80 yards away. You don't necessarily have the best view of it. Now CC Irwin at the striker position, giving chase. Ball sent toward the middle. Sloan does a nice job holding it in, looks left, and gets it to Annie Zink. Now back to the middle, now back to Annie, now back to CC.
Beautiful pass.
Great connection on the passes. CC with a move, sends it with her left foot into the box. Nothing. Now CC again stymied there by the Windham defender. Difficult when you have 6 of them back there. Now McKenna Snow on a mission after the takeaway. Anna Diaz looking for Kenzie Forrester. Kenzie with the left foot, now back to the right, to the middle. And CC couldn't handle that one. It was kind of too hot to handle. And a penalty coming there, or should be. I'm not quite certain why it wasn't. Man,
you are kidding me.
That's an odd no call there. That's a player safety issue at that point. The hands away from the body. And the fans here not pleased about that one. And if you're Bedford at this point in the season, you don't want to lose a player as a result of a foul. And I think we'll have a chance to look at it. Nope. Thought we were going to have the replay, but
looked like
did not.
Andrew may have put it up and we missed it, I think.
He didn't quite get there, but I didn't see who the player was who was on the receiving end of that contact. But what you're really looking for, yeah, we know that handballs and whatnot are going to be missed, but and that one sent up into the corner. McKenna Snow does a great job hurdling the ball, and they'll still say that it was a corner kick. Odd. So Bedford not really getting the home cooking tonight here at Bulldog Stadium, let's say that. And the corner kick will be forthcoming from Addison Armstrong. It was McKenna Snow who got absolutely brutalized there by Megan DeVue. And no call. Interesting. Now the corner kick will come. Ball sent in, and Anna Diaz will send it out of bounds here on the near side, but it was interesting to watch Anna go after that ball because her left arm was being held. She swung around like a rag doll on that one too.
It's hard. It's so difficult for me, combination as a former official and whatnot. Commenting on the rules is one thing, but commenting on the officials' inability to make some critical calls is what's very, very difficult. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut and say good things, be positive when I can, but that was just a couple atrocious things. The corner kick, incorrect call earlier in the game, the lack of the foul, even a larger error, like you indicated, Lauren. You're talking player safety. The girl.
I don't like to see that let go, because if that's let go, then the next play it's more severe because you're continually trying to push it.
Yep.
And as a result, that's where you have a player get hurt. And if you're the Bulldogs leading 1-0, you don't want to lose anybody else. You already lost Vashi Bajpai earlier in the game, and we don't know what her status is. Obviously, she's done for the day, but you don't want to lose anybody else. And certainly not as a result of a penalty.
Part of my job for many years, I don't remember how many years, 10, 12, 15 years, I was a rules interpreter here for high school soccer, and involved in a lot of the training and some assessment of officials. And some of the things that you just saw there was a whistle that time.
Interesting, but that was another player trying to do the same sort of thing, realizing that, hey, I can be physical, so I'm going to be physical, and maybe I'll get away with it. In this case, she didn't, but
some things are truly judgment. I mean, purely judgment, and you can't argue because somebody's looking at it from a different angle, or you see something that's different. But some of this other stuff, and some of it could be prevented by better mechanics, the positioning of the referees, where they are on the field. And it's disappointing not to see a higher quality of that here in New Hampshire, because the quality of the soccer play, and I'll give credit to Windham tonight as well. They're playing well. They are considering Bedford is a better team, Windham still is giving them a really good game, which is what the parents before the game told me we were going to see. They foretold the truth as far as that part of it goes, that they're going to play their hearts out. All the seniors, 8 seniors I think it was, their last game tonight.
And Windham has played hard tonight, don't get me wrong, but what you don't want is a frustration call deep in a game and a player who is important to your team being injured as a result of it. So
absolutely.
And when emotions run high, of course, that's where you get those types of calls. But regardless, 5:45 remaining in the game. The Bulldogs leading 1-0. They have not scored in an eternity. They scored early in the game. Kind of took a lot of the suspense out of it. We saw when they were playing against Windham early in the season as that one rattles around. CeCe Irwin battles for it. Now Anna Diaz with it. Splits some defenders, maybe. Now looks far side. Annie's inked.
Nice.
Annie's right foot behind the net, and it will be a goal kick for Windham, and they dispense with the fancy kicking it around the end line. They just send it toward midfield.
It's like a sense of urgency there, knowing that now they have to score if they don't.
But for Windham, is it a case of too little, too late? We'll find out in a bit here as well.
Bedford needs to, like you talked about earlier, just do play their game, force them to play. Possible foul, at least a play on should have been called maybe.
Kenzie Forrester with it, taking her time. Anna Diaz cuts in behind her. Now Sloan Correa with it. Sloan looks far side. Annie.
Lauren, do you remember last season, the playoff game that the goal was called back? I don't remember if it was girls or boys. I think it was girls.
Ooh, that one kind of shanked back, and that backspin will not be helpful to Windham, but kind of an opportunity for the Bulldogs, but unable to do anything about it. I don't remember. But then again, a lot of what happened in the last playoffs was a bit of a blur.
There was an opportunity to get a through ball to attacking for Windham.
Ball sent back by Windham. Jaguars have about 4 minutes left. by my count, probably 3:45, give or take. I was a little bit late to start it, but Bulldogs leading 1-0.
And I think the referee just stopped the clock.
And how do you know?
Signaled stoppage, which I don't think is right.
Why would you stop? Because you generally don't stop on substitution.
No, you don't. And that was another error, at least in my opinion, because all it was Bedford was subbing, and they're allowed to sub, and as long as they do it quickly, you don't stop the clock. You only stop the clock in the event that a team is deliberately trying to delay the game, and that was not delay the game.
It is interesting when you watch an NFL game, for example, and early in the game, you'll see seconds run off and nobody makes a big deal of it. And it doesn't matter. Late in the game, if a couple extra seconds go by, they stop play, reset the game clock to blank.
Yeah.
It's weird how the seconds that pass by early in the game are less valuable than the seconds later in the game. And why aren't you focused on every second early in the game instead of only when it truly matters and can be kind of judged to be an impropriety?
Well, part of that, it depends on which team you're talking about. So if both teams are playing slow, that's one thing. But then when you get to this point, and if the team that's up by just one goal, especially if Windham was pressing Bedford here, a lot more, getting more opportunity. They've been getting close, but then delay of the game against Bedford would be something that you might see, but that's unsportsmanlike and should be penalized, and it could be carded as well.
Right, and that's not necessarily what I'm referring to. I mean, you can play keep away as long as it's within the spirit of the game. You did have one called as that one was sent to the box by Diaz, and now looked like that one went off the foot of the Windham defender, who is now palms up about it. And Bedford will have a corner kick here with not a whole lot of time left, and so the defender in on it, kind of doing a little pushing and shoving, and it went off her foot, and she didn't like the call, but regardless, it looked like it was the right call.
Absolutely.
And this one will now be taken by Kenzie Forrester, who slams it into the box. Anna Diaz had a shot at it, and now sent out of bounds by Windham.
Which is not a bad thing for Bedford at this point in time to have the Windham side, in quote, not getting the game started quickly because of that big clear. It was nice that the trail official this time did go down the field. He was way down. He was probably about 25, 30 yards from the goal that time.
Windham on the run now. Probably about a minute left, I'm guessing. Sent to Meredith Reich. Blocks it. Now looks toward the middle, but ball knocked away. And she'll have an opportunity to make a throw, and also gave herself about 12 extra yards and a great throw to Lila Yater, and now that one sent out of bounds by Windham. Stephanides will send it out of bounds, the senior, and Bedford will take a throw, but the clock ticking now on Windham as the ball goes off of Kenzie Forrester's foot, and the throw coming for Windham.
Very little time left. The official on the other side, I just noticed him taking a little extra time looking at his watch.
Diaz chips it up. Forrester with the header now into the box. Sent out of bounds by Windham, and it will be a Bedford throw coming. But plays like that do not help Windham when you're trying to get that equalizing goal. My 5-minute clock just ended.
That's it.
And apparently so did theirs.
Good job. Good job, Bedford Bulldogs tonight. 1-0 victory, which puts them up against Pinkerton.
Final score, Bedford 1.
Correct.
So there you go.
0.
Yes, Bulldogs win 1-0. The goal coming from Kenzie Forrester off the assist from CeCe Irwin. And that was 1 minute and 52 seconds into the game, and that was the only scoring we have. So with that said, the Bulldogs and Pinkerton, number 6 seeded Pinkerton, will face off here at 6 o'clock on Friday night. And that one will be a tougher opponent than the Bulldogs saw here tonight. Pinkerton ended their season 8-4-4, and the Bulldogs beat them narrowly. I believe it was a 1-0 score during that game. No 2-0 score. The Bulldogs won that one. So, but that was a tough opponent that we saw that night. So with that said, we know that Pinkerton will come ready for battle on Friday night at 6 o'clock. So we hope to see you out here. Are we doing it on BCTV? I don't know.
I believe so.
We'll see.
I'm not positive.
Keep your eyes peeled on the BCTV website as well as on their social media for any announcements as to whether we are carrying the game. My hope would be that we are carrying the game. So with that, not putting any pressure on Bill Jennings or Andrew Fenn, but with that said, it will be live on BCTV on Friday night. So
it will be live.
6 p.m., be here. I'll be here. You'll be here. So we'll be talking about soccer Friday night as the Bulldogs play in a quarterfinal game against Pinkerton, and the winner of that game will have the opportunity to face off against Exeter, and the winner of the Exeter-Timberlane game that will be taking place on Friday as well. So anything you want to add before we send it home, Bill Klein?
No, that was a long game.
It was 80 minutes.
It was not a classic Bedford Bulldog girls game. Windham, did what they needed to do to keep the score down, and shout out to them for playing as hard as they possibly could, and they came pretty close there a couple times to possibly breaking in, but Bedford just and like you were talking before about the long seasons practicing and getting to the end of the season, Bedford can regroup, and when I say regroup, polish stuff up, come back, and who knows, they could go far in this tournament. It'd be exciting to see if they can get up into the semis and go up against Exeter or BG.
It would be good. So with that said, great job, by the way, to Daniel winning in goal tonight as the Bulldogs picked up this 1-0 win. I'd like to thank my broadcast partner, Bill Klein, as well as Bill Jennings and Andrew Fenn, Colleen Richardson, all the BCTV team for all of their assistance in getting this one on the air. Bulldogs 1-0 winners in the prelim round here at Bulldog Stadium. We will catch you Friday night, 6 p.m., Bedford and Pinkerton. You have been watching Bedford High School girls soccer live on BCTV.